Hello everybody, welcome back to RPG Radio. My name is Winback, and on today's episode, we're gonna be starting off this hardcore run. This is my first hardcore character ever in Grim Dawn, and I know that might be a little bit of a surprise considering how many hours I've put into this game already, which is probably close to about 2,000. Basically, the hardcore characters are not something I get into when it comes to isometric action RPGs, because the amount of time it takes to figure out and level up a build to the point that I enjoy it isn't something that I want to take a chance on dying with. Typically, when I'm just putting around having fun, I die a lot. So, this next couple video series is going to be all about some super patient play through the game all the way up to level 100 with an Oathkeeper soldier build that should be mighty tanky and very, very survivable while doing enough damage. Things don't get super hairy. Wow. Still actually getting pretty gross to deal with. Right down. Now, this video series is probably going to be pretty short. It's only going to be, I am assuming, 4 videos long, if that. The only reason we're even starting off at level 25 is just because I think those first couple levels are really quite a slog to get through, even though they give you the most ability to really plan stuff out. But since they're behind us, you can see where I'm kind of at with the build so far and a couple devotions. Since I've never made a hardcore character before, we basically have to start the game over 100% because I don't have a connection to my other characters' loot boxes or recipes, anything like that. So when you make a hardcore character, your softcore characters, normal characters, I don't even know what the distinction is because softcore sounds kind of weird, but they do not share gear, they do not share recipes, nothing overarching between them. Put that in this box. So really, you get to see me play through the game basically like it's my first time, except I have all the knowledge that I've accrued over those other characters' playthroughs. Yeah, should be fun, but it's basically going to be a pretty chill couple videos, doing it all live. Not going to do a whole lot of editing here other than to take out the slow parts and make sure that we don't have a whole bunch of downtime of me not talking to myself, because I can get pretty focused sometimes. It's also a YouTube video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe your heart out. That is how we do it these days. With the holidays coming up, I need to take a little bit of an easy mode approach to the videos because there is a lot of stuff going on that takes up a lot of my time. But I don't want to drop this cold turkey while we're working at cold turkey worky. Anyway, it's a soldier Oathkeeper build like I mentioned, so all of our damage is going to be mostly fire, physical, and internal trauma damage focused. Right now, for our devotions, we do not have very many, so the ones we are building at the moment are tortoise is the one, and bull. Bull is only about halfway done, but it's got a decent chunk of internal trauma damage and the passive that comes along with it. Okay, that's not bad. We can work with that. As long as it's not Stunjack guy, this fight is manageable. What was I saying? Oh no, help me remember. The bull, right. Bull has a really cool passive when it comes to, or a really cool ability once it's finished. That'll help us deal a lot of damage as we continue to charge all over the place. This is going to be a mostly tackle-centric, melee-focused build. So there's going to be a lot of dashing, a lot of melee, and eventually there will be a lot of auto-attacking too. Right now, my Shattering Smash is not going off nearly as much as I want it to. But Shattering Smash is a big AoE ability. You can see it there. We punch the ground, big shockwave comes out, and does a lot of damage in an AoE. That being said, it doesn't activate nearly as much as I want it to, and my attack speed is still relatively low considering, so it doesn't get used up nearly enough. But all things considered, I have about 7 points in both Shattering Smash and Vire's Might, and then we've got, I want to say it's either 5 or 7 in Blitz. We're also using the Warden's Shield to get a couple more points into Blitz, as well as reducing the cooldown. Man, I gotta keep popping those potions like mad. And where you got Overguard, I'm not putting a lot of points into my defensive abilities yet. I try to focus on getting the points into all of my offensive abilities first and worrying about the mastery bar. Then after that, we can start focusing on those points into the other abilities. Money is a big issue too, so we're gonna start spending pretty soon. Do I need to go? I don't think I need to go back down there. Whack that guy. Got a couple basically we're picking up and using every component that we can that is doing even the slightest amount of good when it comes to staying alive. So there's going to be a lot of components that help with our armor situation. Percent health components are really important too. We've also got at least one component right now giving us an activatable ability. They are pretty decent this early in the game. But we'll take a look at the build in just a sec here. I want to get the forges knocked out, and then we can go into the mine to deal with Darius Cronley, the most boring enemy in the entire game, and a huge red herring. Last forge, right? Yeah, that's the last one. It's great that a lot of these early enemies are super easy to knock down with Blitz too. One of the kind of nuances to this build will be using Blitz and Vire's Might in combo format, because Blitz only hits a couple targets. It has a maximum amount of enemies it can hit because it is a point and click ability, and it hits in a small AoE around it. I can't go down these stairs, huh? Why does it feel like I should be able to? Since Blitz only hits a couple enemies to begin with when you point and click it, you are going to use that to close the distance between you and a clump of enemies, and then you're going to use Vire's Might after that to start blasting through the rest of them. We might really need to go spend all our money still. But you can see we're picking up a couple monster infrequents, and we're using some quest reward items as well, such as the Skinner Family Seal, Fortified Doublet from the Fabric quest in Act 1. Skinner Family Seal, it's when you save save the dude from burning his family alive. Pretty good. Don't know how you'd ever avoid doing that unless you're a sadistic asshole, but you know, sometimes that happens. So get the ring if you can. It's been pretty decent, all things considered. We were using Isaac Spalders for a long time there. Those were super good early on, but have since moved away from there. And we found ourselves an Explorer's Cover for that 5% XP gain. And then our ribbon also giving us 3% XP gained. Blade Ward's Courage. All that Shattering Smash and Blitz points, super good. Probably not going to get rid of that one for a while. And then I picked the wrong relic. I've got Equilibrium. I think I wanted Calamity instead. But, you know, hindsight's 20/20. And there is the Warden's Fortress of the Boar, dropping the Blitz cooldown by half a second, adding 2 points to Blitz and its modifier Blindside. I haven't put any points to Blindside. I don't know if I will, but for now, it's up to that 7-point goodness, so I don't have a whole lot to worry about, because it's going to be doing dumb amounts of damage to enemies this early in the game. And once it stops doing that big amount of damage, we'll switch it over and probably get the modifier a bit more. Man, I love it when the enemies just go flying. It's like 0 resistance to knockdown. Everybody just explodes. Piston. I am absolutely crushing it. But then again, human type enemies are pretty easy to smush, if we're being honest. Mainly because they all fall down. Same thing with skeletons. Breaking literally everything. I want as much money as possible. I do not want to play through the game as a broke, penniless adventurer in the apocalypse. Probably not a great idea. So as far as the channel is concerned, I will probably be focusing on some lore content after this series is done. So give it about 3-4 more videos. I'll drop in that lore video through our Sentinel playthrough. Nothing over here, right? No. And then we can get back to that. I'll try to start pumping those out alongside the build videos, because I know they got a smaller audience, but they're still... I know some people just are into the lore. Grimdawn has some really good lore stuff going on, so if you don't check that out, you're missing out on a really cool part of the game, I promise. Suppose we also should mention the other abilities going on here. So you got Shattering Smash, you got Vire's Might, we've also got Blitz right there. And then all the other abilities, we got a couple points in. We got Volcanic Stride, modifying Volcanic Might for the knockdown and converting the physical damage to fire on Vire's Might. We got 1 point in Safeguard to get some physical damage and armor. We got a Righteous Fervor, putting 1 or 2 points in that for some elemental resistance and attack speed. Attack speed, right? Oh no. What? There it is. It's in Consecration. So we can get Shattering Smash to happen more often. Then there is Rebuke for the physical damage. Haven for the increased block chance, block damage, and health increases. And then 1 point into Presence of Virtue just so we can activate it. Soldier's Fighting Spirit. Menhir's Will. Military Conditioning, Shield Training, and Overguard. All that stuff, again, pretty defensive focused for this build, so it doesn't play a huge part in the early game here. Normal is mostly easy to get through. We might start funneling points into those abilities if we start taking lots of damage that spooks me, but I don't have too many builds where I feel scared, at least in normal. The first 50 levels are always relatively simple to deal with. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I've never died in normal. It's definitely easy to do that if you're not paying attention, but since I'm playing hardcore, my eyes are open and I am trying to survive literally everything. Wild Caller's Decapitator. Love that item. Got the Sanctuary Relic as well. Crushing Verdict. That is an Oathkeeper ability, but I don't remember what it is. Yeah, it's Judgment. That's what I thought. Activate that Overguard as much as possible. Get as many tanky stats as we can out of it. Clear the Shrine. Not a whole lot to worry about there. Overguard is decreasing the cooldown on our shield block, reducing our shield stun duration, increasing the amount of damage that we can block. It's just a really good ability to have if you have a shield and you don't want to die. And that's only a level 1. It's got a lot of stats coming in. Man, picked up a bunch of stuff. I don't want to play Inventory Manager. I really don't. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to waste anybody's time, but my God. When you're playing in hardcore, everything is just, should I be using this? Is this good? I don't know. Just a little bit further, and then we'll have that Pitmaster's Axe with the physical damage. And that should be a fairly decent gear power spike for us. Make Cronley a little bit quicker to kill. Fake wall right there. Pretty easy corpse. Pretty easy blocks. Whole bunch of stuff. And that damage is ticking up. Wait, was that the last one? The helmets are always enticing when I have the Explorer's helmet on, but it's really tough to give up that increased XP gain. Even though we don't have the whole set, that 8% that we've got from the metal plus the helmet is not insignificant. Honestly, in these early levels, getting stuff done quicker feels right. So I may take the loss of stats to keep things quick on the experience gain side of things. I don't think we have missed, well, not to say that we haven't missed any. I haven't missed any shrines that I can access at the moment. Let's go for this. This is the ability I was talking about earlier, Bull Rush. 25% chance on attack. It's going to do a physical internal trauma damage. We're going to apply it to... Vire's Might. This basically shoots out of us in an AoE. 85% chance on attack. Heck yes. Depending on what you... what ability you assign that devotion to. It works with every devotion that has that type of ability. If it's an activatable thing that you can do, there is always going to be a change in chance for its activation, depending on the ability that you put in there. So AoE abilities usually have a better chance to activate than single target abilities, but sometimes single target abilities get the higher chance. I think it's all dependent on what the devotion ability is. Nice. Time to upgrade the weapon. But yeah, Bull Rush is fantastic. Big ol' AoE coming right out of the middle of us. Get that out of here. Get some XP from the lore note. And grab this bad boy. This on there. Get the slam back. And then the battered shell, so we can get shield slam. And then we do need to focus on our mastery bar a bit. I was kind of thinking Eye of Reckoning, but at the same time, finishing the mastery bar is going to be pretty important because I want to get to Divine Mandate as early as possible, get my points in there, and have ourselves a whole bunch of extra damage. I'm gonna activate that. Things are working pretty good still. Moneybags is kind of a tanky enemy, so I think he's mostly got, what, physical resistances, armor, that sort of stuff. Taking a little bit longer to kill than I'd like to, but I think that's just because of the nature of the enemy instead of the build itself. Where'd it go? There it is. Nope. Fire is going to be important, but I don't have any of the abilities on that item. I think they're mostly demolitionist, so wasting my time equipping that isn't in the cards at the moment. Bull Rush being absolutely fantastic. Probably pick up Targo's hammer, Targo's mallet in this build as well. Don't know if we're going to go for the shield devotions, like Shield Maiden or Obelisk. I think they could be good, but I suppose it all depends on just how... Another breakable wall. Just how tanky we get towards the later difficulties. I'm trying to clear out everything that I can in this playthrough, just again to maximize the XP. I really don't want to be sitting on this stuff for as long as it is going to take. I mean, in my first playthrough, these clears were slow going because I had no idea what I was doing, but that's fine because we're grown up in that Grim Dawn playstyle. I have learned a thing or two about making the most of my time. Man, even Durenius. It's not great. Considering that we just put on this big-ass axe that jumped our damage up. A little bit concerning. And then we just go ahead and smack a whole bunch of enemies for one shot, one kill. So maybe it's not a big deal. Almost level 30 going into the second half of Act 2. Pretty excited about that. Got my ASMR voice on. Get those pilot tunes going. Another fake wall. The mine is just full of them. Just get you guys to leave me alone while I check these boxes out, please. Check the corpse. Check the little box. Really, nothing. I guess 2 for 3 isn't the worst thing in the world. Free dynamite. Never turn that down. Okay. Man, you eventually run out of stuff to say in these playthroughs. At least teachable-wise, yeah, I think so. When I was doing HOTS commentary, it was easy because the game was going on in the background and you could just spectate, but now it's kind of like, what do I say? My build and my thought process are completed. Anyway, it's I mean, it's a hardcore playthrough, right? So the whole thought process in starting this playthrough was to get something so tanky that we would never ever die, while also playing a class that synergizes with the tanky really, really well. And obviously, Oathkeeper is the DPS class, Soldier is the defensive class, but man, I cannot be standing over there. Oathkeeper's also got a whole bunch of tanky stats in it too, so it's kind of like there isn't as much to worry about. Early game, anyway. Late game, we might have some stuff to ponder over resistance-wise, but until we start getting those penalties, shouldn't be a huge deal. Man, as I knew this enemy was just going to be this big a pain in the ass. Just got his shield, got his chase me down mechanic, where he walks forward, and I don't have any type of counter to it, other than to also walk forward. Ugh. Luckily, we have an infinite number of health potions, so, you know. He's definitely a giggly motherfucker. That's to be sure. Smash through. Smashy crashing. Laughing with 15% of your health left. You absolute chode. It's fine. Gotta lay down some fire carpets, get some more bulls, destroy all of his minions, chug another potion. It's a good thing I put that other component on, just so I have another button to whack him with. Cooldowns are pretty important on this build, I think, because, well, early on anyway, the auto attacks are not going to be doing anything at all. Break the crystal, we'll get some aether crystals, some soul shards, some lore notes, tainted brain matter. Yes, thank you. I needed that for Calamity, the relic. I did end up picking up my Calamity relic, so that's going to give us a 5% chance to activate. And I believe it launches fireballs. Yeah, it's that big, maybe it's not big, but it's just a wave of fireballs that come out of us, and we have a 5% chance on attack to do it. So with our carpet of fire popping out from underneath us, as well as mostly AoE abilities, there should be a pretty decent amount of fireballs launching off. Go get that Devotion Shrine figured out. Go around the back way. much as I would like to go down there, buggies, I'm not looking to spend a whole lot of time. I do want to get the devotion shrine before we call this video a wrap, just so I can get the bold devotion completed and maybe take a look at what's coming next. But then we'll put in these last couple points that I've gotten, figure out what's going on with gear, and then tune in next time for the leveling process up to 50. Once we hit 30 as well, which will probably be off camera, but once we hit 30, we won't need the corruption. We won't need the explorer's hat anymore, so we can diversify gear a little bit more as well. Just gonna be all around a better time the higher level we get, and I think that goes without saying, so I'll stop saying it. Lots of teeny tinies. Lots of teeny tiny blueprints. Alright, give me the quest. I'll go slay your rich people, don't you worry. Pick up some money. Get out of there. I have a feeling this build will get much more interesting to watch once we've maxed out the mastery bars on each side of the build. But it's not like it's a bad thing now. It's a little bit repetitious. And once we have a Vire's Might cooldown reduction of the maximum variety, we should basically be completely mobile all the time, no stopping us. If you guys could just disappear, I would like my shrine to be completed. There it is. Elixir of the Hunt. Forgot you could get elixir blueprints. Hound's Bite? No. Marauder's Gloves? No. Also, those guys out of here. No guns needed. Chest armor. What do we got? No, I do not need this. Blade Ward's Courage is too good currently. We lost a couple points on the Shattering Smash. But since we're at Tectonic Shift now, I would just go put all the points in here. At least. I need to shave at least a full second off of the cooldown to feel good about where it's at. So it's on a 3.4 right now. We'd be able to drop it down to a 2.6 maxed out. So that's where the next couple levels of points are going. Again, if you need specific point allocation for any of these builds, I don't really play that way. 7's just the lucky number, so go up to 7 for your important offensive abilities, and then your defensive abilities, you can keep them usually below 5 until after level 50, where it starts to count. But yeah, get that last devotion point into Bull, max that stuff out. Now Shield Maiden is unlocked. I don't know if we're going to need that right away. Targo is also unlocked. What does Shield Wall do? It's another defensive devotion. Got some options coming our way, but that is going to be it for this video, everybody. Put all our points into physique since we are super health focused and physical damage focused. Shouldn't actually be a surprise to anyone. But I'll see you guys next time. We'll be right around level 45 to 50 for this build, and we'll continue down the hardcore path. Probably going to start seeing a little bit more patience when it comes to bigger enemies with this build at that point, because at that stage of the game, things can sneak up on you and kill you if you're not paying attention to them. So I'll be peeling my eyes quite a bit harder. But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out. Let me know if you like this type of content in the comments below so I can figure out if I'm going to keep doing them after this little series. But otherwise, yeah. Lore videos incoming later, more build videos to couple with those, and eventually some new games once I figure out how to invest time into those again. Anyway, have a good time, everybody. Peace out.